Welcome back to Hawk Talk, everyone. This is Season 2, Episode 8. This is going to be our final episode of Season 2. We hope you enjoyed this season, met some more of our players, and really got the inside scoop of our program. Today, like I said in the last episode, we're going to talk about how this season went, the 2020-2021 school year, and also how our spring game versus Stonehill went. And we also have special guest Head Coach Bruno Victal joining us on the show to go through some of the highlights with us and share his thoughts about this year and the upcoming fall season, which is really excited to say less than 3 months away now. So if you're watching this video, go ahead and like and subscribe as usual. You can comment or email timfield@anselm.edu with any questions or any episode ideas. Also, go ahead and follow us on our Instagram page. And we're also streaming on Podbean and Apple Podcasts. So where do I start? Crazy year. The COVID-19 pandemic forced us to adjust to a lot of different things. But first and foremost, I just want to say I'm proud of all my teammates this year. It was just such a hard year for all of us. And just so all the people watching know, all of us had to get up at before 7 a.m. twice, 3 times a week to get COVID testing to ensure that we could participate and we could train together and we could lift together. We also had to train in small groups for a large portion of the year, which was very hard, especially in soccer because we like to do things a lot as a whole team. So training in small groups was pretty hard. And we also had a lot of other restrictions during practice. And on top of that, we were sent home a few times because of some outbreaks on campus. And so it was just pretty frustrating at times. We faced a lot of adversity, but I think it helped us grow. It helped us mature and come together. And we became more responsible. And although it was kind of a bad year, I mean, I think it made us better. So I just want to say I'm proud of my teammates for getting through this year and improving a lot from the beginning to the end. I think we grew up a lot, as I said. But let's start off with Coach Bruno. Do you agree with this? And how do you think this year went?
Definitely. I echo pretty much everything that you said. I really, this whole COVID situation, it was tough for everybody, not just with sports and like life in general, right? For us on campus, I mean, we saw you guys very hungry, looking forward to our season. We're going up for sure. And then we, like everybody else, we end up suffering a lot with the whole situation. For us coaches, it was tough to see you guys again, very hungry, wanted to get on the field, wanted to train, get on each other there, and you guys couldn't have the full experience. On the other hand too, for us coaches, we had to be very creative in order to keep you guys motivated, right? Think about it. So you're talking about social distancing, small group training, as you mentioned. It was really tough, but at the end of the day, I think we all grew as individually as a person. So with the situation.
Yeah. And Tim, what are your thoughts about this year?
So I think the first thing I've got to say, at least, is props to our sports medicine team. The way they handled testing hundreds of students every week, testing you guys multiple times. Anytime there was a positive case that came out, they got us involved as coaches immediately. And we helped with, making sure that you guys were isolated and things like that. And, we read about other local schools. I mean, SNU didn't even come on campus. UNH had some issues. We had the one issue around Easter, but, considering it was a full school year and that was the major issue, I think they did an incredible job. And the fact that we were even able to get with you guys was very, very good. Some of the schools we saw didn't even train. So it was an interesting year. It was a growing year. I feel a little bad for the freshmen that came in because they probably think this is what it's like. I think they're going to be the ones they may be more shocked next year than the incoming freshmen are when they see the difference in how everything is really run in a normal year. But I do know you guys grew from it. And honestly, we always talk about how close you guys are as a team. You got a lot closer over this. You guys relied on each other and did a great job with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you guys said. And one of the things that I said to the boys when we got back from winter break was we had a team meeting, and what I said was, we got to stop looking at this as like such a terrible situation, and let's just take what we can get from it. Like as you were just saying, a lot of schools are shut down. Our competition couldn't even train together this year. We had a whole year of preparation, playing together, learning each other's styles, what we like, what we don't like. And we had a whole year of doing that to prepare for next year. So that was just another thing that came to mind when I thought about this year. But moving on to our spring game, back a few weeks ago on May 1st, we traveled to Stonehill College for our only game this year. And as we all know, we were shorthanded that game. We had about 5 or 6 injuries, and we only had 2 subs. On top of that, we also had not played an 11v11 game since November of 2019. So that makes a year and a half in between games. All of that being said, though, we came out with a 2-1 win. I think we had a great performance, and we had a 2-0 lead for a large part of the game until they scored a penalty with 1 minute left. But Tim, I'll start with you on this one. How did we look on the field from your perspective? Did we kind of meet expectations on the field?
If I'm being honest, I think you exceeded expectations. Like you said, it was our first 11v11 game since 2019. And for those keeping track, we are undefeated since late 2019. But, we had guys playing out of position due to the injuries, and we had freshmen starting, which every year Bruno and I come in and say, okay, how are we going to avoid having to throw a freshman out there? And every year we have to throw a freshman out there. But having Ethan start at center back in his first game after not even being able to play in the one scrimmage we had in the fall, that was a big deal. And, you guys came together. We moved Kyle out of position, put him at center back, although we kept threatening it. And we even have podcasts talking about that. But I think all in all, what I saw was very, very good. And the negatives that I saw would have easily been remedied with having some healthy bodies that we could put on the field for 10 and 15 minute stints who could have rested you guys. Them scoring a penalty at the end of the game, part of that could be due to you guys just being exhausted. Most of you ran the entire game, and I was pretty proud to see that.
Yeah, I definitely thought we were pretty fit coming into the game, especially with the 2 subs. Bruno, what were your thoughts about the game? I know I kind of talked to you after the game and a little post there, but can you tell the audience what you thought about the game?
Yeah, I will actually correct Tim on this one. It was not the first 11v11 game. Was actually the first time these guys had an 11v11 format. Correct if I'm wrong. That was the only time since COVID hit that they were on the field on that format. Not even in practice, we never had that. So it definitely, in my opinion, you guys did better than I was expecting. There was no way that I was expecting you guys to perform that way. Of course, we have things to improve. And again, as Tim said, we had to ride the same guys pretty much the entire game, just with a couple of subs. It was good. It was nice to see the freshmen on field, the guys that haven't played with us yet. It was a pleasant surprise to see Johnny, Ethan, and Zach Vero. We had Reed, Josue, Mike 14, guys that we never seen them wearing a Hawks jersey on the field, right? So, and for me, just my apologies if I missed somebody there, but it was really, it was very exciting to be on the sideline too with you guys. So,
yeah, the one thing that really just jumped out to me was we got the win and we haven't played in a year and a half. So that was just right away. I was like, it kind of doesn't matter how good or bad we played. Like at the end of the day, we still came out with a W in a game that we haven't played in a year and a half. So that was just a good takeaway.
And Zach, I'll add one thing that makes that win even more impressive is I'm pretty sure Stonehill had 2 full lines and they had their graduating seniors on the field.
Right.
This was their senior game for the year, and I pretty sure they expected to walk away victorious in that game. And when they saw that we only had a couple subs, they really expected that they were going to run us into the ground and then take advantage of it. And that just speaks to the conditioning and what you guys have done all year. The fact that you were able to, even in the 90th minute, keep running with them when they were fresh.
Right. And another thing was that they beat us last fall too. I mean, although you always say we outshot them by 15 or 20 shots, but we had more chances, but they still beat us. So we beat a team that beat us last year, which just shows our improvement as well.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just add one more thing. And just it was not just for the score, it was just the way that you guys were, were playing, the performance, like you guys playing as a team, you guys putting together stuff that we weren't expecting you guys to do, after the whole situation that we were all facing. And that was the best part for me. Just the way that you guys played, really knocking the ball around, connecting tons of passes, and just even, the goal that we scored, we train a lot of the crossing and finishing, right? So, and I think that play definitely translated to stuff that we train, so there was a beautiful cross, a beautiful goal, a nice pass from KJ too. It was kind of like, oh, wow, I've seen this before in training. So, that's awesome.
Right. So yeah, you're starting to talk about the goal. I was just about to get there. So I'm gonna show the clip for our audience to see, but it was sophomore Jackson Bucunt who started out the scoring within 5 minutes of the game starting. So freshman Ethan Northcott stole the ball from Stonehill and he kind of pushed it up the field, led a counterattack. He passed it up to Kevin. Kevin played a great ball to the corner over to Johnny, and Johnny played in a beautiful cross to Jackson, who headed it home. By the way, it was good to see Johnny back out there. First game since he played in the preseason 2 years ago against Plymouth, so it was good to have him back. But as I said, Johnny whipped in a great ball to Jackson, who scored a really nice header. Everything about the play was beautiful, and it got us off on a good note. So, Tim, what were your thoughts about that first goal?
My first thought, honestly, was the type of ball that Johnny played in, and everyone who watches the clip will see it, is the type of ball that is so easy as a striker to put over the goal. It was a hard-driven ball that really all Jackson had to do is lightly redirect the ball. And when you think of lightly redirecting a ball at that level, you think, oh, that's easy. No, it's one of the hardest things you can do. And, when I went back and watched the replays of it, I just thought it was an incredible job by Jackson to just put the right amount of pressure on the ball and pop it into the net. And after, 18 months or whatever it was of not even getting to see you guys play, and then watching something like that was pretty special. I'm still getting chills even thinking about it right now.
And Bruno, what do you think about the goal?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, you guys, we train that type of stuff, right? Always expecting to see that in games, and when it happens, you go like, oh wow, so it's real. You know what I mean? So, and again, just the way that the ball was crossed, and with the right weight on the ball. Think about if it's too soft or if it's too hard. He changes the whole play, and that was just a perfect ball. In Brazil, we have a saying that, he served that with his hands. You know what I mean? So that's that's an expression that we use there. And Jackson, the way that he finished it, clearly, like a true number 9, eyes open. He knew where the keeper was, that was just beautiful to see, especially early in the game. I think that gave us the confidence to play, right? So to keep performing and taking charge of the game.
Yeah. And I really felt like, as you were saying, that really helped us get a good control, helped us get some confidence with some younger players out on the field. Because most of our guys, they still only played 1 year of any 10, like Kevin, Kyle, Jackson. Johnny has never played. Josue's first time, Mike first time playing against any 10 competition. So I feel like that really gave us some confidence early on. And after going up 1-0, I felt like we had good control. Jackson had good number 9 hold-up play. Our center midfielders were establishing some good control in there. We were moving the ball around. And I just want to say that our center backs, freshman Ethan Northcott, first game, and Kyle White, first game playing center back at the college level, they were outstanding. Like from just being on the field with them, they were definitely like men of the match, in my opinion. But I'm also going to show another clip here of Patrick Sorensen. He had a shot from pretty far out that went over the keeper and hit off the crossbar. I don't know if you coaches remember that, but then he also,
yeah, I do.
Yeah, he also had another shot from, I believe, just inside the box. He forced the keeper to make a diving save. So we were getting some good quality opportunities, and it was good to see Pat back as well. He had that injury last year as well, but it was good to see Pat get some chances, force the goalie into some tough spots. What were some other things that you guys were impressed with? Were there any specific plays, Bruno, during the game that you thought, wow, like we've really stepped it up, or something like that?
Yeah, that one I actually want to talk about Pat a little bit, because if you look at Pat, he's very composed, right? The way that he plays, knocks the ball around, 4-way player. But it's interesting because I saw some, not last season, when his freshman year, he can be that surprise, that player that comes, that nobody's expecting him to, because, everybody's going to mark number 7, 11, 9, number 10. But Patrick, he breaks lines. When he goes, and he can be that surprise player that we can definitely benefit from those plays. So I really like when he does that, because think about it. It's hard when you're playing against a guy that gets the ball, knocks around, passes, paces the game, and all of a sudden, that guy, he takes off and makes something happen, break lines. I'm like, okay, where's that coming from? So I think we can definitely take advantage of that.
How about you, Tim? Is there any specific plays during the game that kind of caught your eye?
Yeah, I've got to go back to your statement about Ethan and Kyle. We've talked about it a lot with Kyle about throwing him back at center back and kind of seeing what we could do with it. And then when Jake Reynolds strained his hamstring, it was obvious we had to do something like that. And, we lost both of our center backs, graduation and transfer. And that was something that I was worried about going into the fall. And I'm not very concerned about center backs anymore. I thought Kyle just completely set the tone from the back. For lack of a better term, he played center back like a holding mid. And every time, what impressed me is every time he and Ethan were on the ball, it was our chance to turn and counter. It was patience with the ball, looking to find and connect with someone. I thought we did an incredible job with both Chris Gallier and Mikey 14 of getting the ball wide, being able to take our space, start penetrating into their half. That's what really stuck out to me. And then when we have the chance basically to have 4 stud center midfielders on the field at the same time, when you add in KJ and Pat and Josue, or when Taylor comes back with Kyle right behind him, our ability to counter is going to be incredible. And that really stuck out to me during the game. We had our mistakes. We had a couple times we got a little too direct, but for the most part, I thought that the composure was the big thing that just, as a coach, made me proud to see what you guys were doing with that.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of you guys. And Kyle and Ethan played great, as you were saying. But in the second half, so we had the 1-0 lead in the second half. I scored a penalty kick in the 54th minute. But on that play, I was really happy with the buildup we had and also the composure we had, because Stonehill actually had, I think, cleared the ball out a little bit, and Josue went and tracked it down, put it back into play. So it just showed good composure, good maturity on that play. And Zach Vero was the one who actually stepped in and drew the penalty. And I know Stonehill wasn't really happy with the call, but in the video, you'll see that the player kind of just jumped up with his cleats showing. So anytime you have that, especially in the box, it's just kind of a no-brainer. So to me, it was a good call. And you guys probably don't know this, but on the field, Jackson was telling me, he was like, "Oh, Zach, let me take the kick. Let me take the kick." I was like, no, I got to take this one.
There you go. I love it.
So I was happy to get one in, really help my confidence a little bit, and I thought I played a little bit better after I put that in. So what were your thoughts about the play building up to that? Go ahead, Bruno.
Yeah. So it as you said, if every time I always tell everybody, so the especially my strikers and midfielders, the box will always protect you, right? You in the box, the ball is in their box, so anything can happen, right? So again, like we there might be some questions on that PK. Your opinion was a PK, right? So we can debate on the other one too. Like you're in the box and then, right, the ball, you're protecting your face, the ball touches your hand. I mean, how is that a PK too? At the end of the day, as I said, I always go with the performance of the team. Right. And I think we were the better team on the field anyway. So, on that day, we're the better team.
Right.
Right. So, and regarding the PK, you guys like, oh, I want to take it. I always say the best man to take the PK is the one that has the confidence to do it. And I'm happy to hear now that we had two that were like, I got it. I got this. Because you can have the best, I don't even know if this is right. Is it PK taker or a shooter or whatever that is? You can have the best one there. But if the confidence is not there, it's not the right man for the job. So,
So Tim, I'll direct a different question to you because more toward your expertise. Not saying that penalty kicks aren't your expertise, but this one you're actually going to like. So I believe it was the second half of the game. You're going to see an outstanding save from Brian. It was probably the best chance Stonehill had. They had a free kick from fairly deep outside the box, and it doesn't look like it in the clip, but if you were there at the game, Brian got a tip on the ball, and he touched it up, and it went off the crossbar and came back out. But if he hadn't touched that ball was going to go over him and in the goal. So what were your thoughts on the save, Tim?
It looks and sounds like something that's easy to do, but in the video, you can see Brian's backtracking. So he's worried about getting back in between the post, making sure he's got the angle right. And it was not a lofted ball that was headed to the goal. It was a well-struck ball that was traveling with some velocity, and getting up in the air and being able to track the ball and redirect it the way he did is part of what makes Brian so special in my eyes. That is not an easy thing to do. And to think that the size he is and the coordination he has to be able to do something like that, I don't think anyone would have looked negatively on Brian had that ball gone in the net. We would have thought, how did the shot happen? Not how did the ball get in the net? But his athleticism and ability to do things like that may save us 3, 4, 5 goals over the course of the season. And as we all know, with the overtime rule that the NCAA has, those 3, 4, 5 goals are the difference between wins and losses. I just thought it was spectacular. But I will say it's exactly what I expected him to do. And it's nice to have, not that I wouldn't have expected Jake or Neto or someone to make a save like that too, but it's just, we know Brian and we know those are the saves. If you beat Brian, it was a heck of a good shot.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was on the bench during that save, and I was just, the first thing I thought of was, wow, that's a wicked athletic play.
Yeah.
After the game, Brian was like, you got to show me some love on the podcast. And I was like, all right, I got you.
So, come on, Bundy. Who do I talk about every time?
So Brian, if you're watching, I just showed you some love. So those were all the highlights from our 2-1 win over Stonehill. I thought it was a great way to end our year on a high note. I know the boys were really excited. Bus ride home was really fun. So I'm just really happy with how we looked and just kind of our form on the field, especially with the 2 subs, like we said, and just having not played in a long time against a team who had been playing all spring, a team who had a lot of subs, as we said. But you guys have any final thoughts? Any of you guys can jump in.
I do actually. It's just going back a little bit on the game. It was kind of nice just to see how it shaped up, that we had our two outside backs, like, Michael and Chris, going flag to flag, right? Going up and down. I think this is great, especially for, we have some outside backs in the freshman class, this last freshman class, that they were unable to play due to injuries and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like nice for them to see how we play, what we expect from our outside backs. It's really hard to play in that pace, like, for 90 minutes. So we're definitely making subs, during the game, making sure everybody's got fresh legs. We get guys that can play there and can play also center. Like, we have Jake Reynolds that can play anywhere in the back, pretty much outside backs, not afraid to play. We have like younger guys, that can play in that position. And it's just nice to see. And also the two center backs, as you said, you in your opinion, Zach, they were probably the best players on the field. I do think that they both have a good feet. So, and then they think like midfielders, which they can pace the game, they can wait for the options, they're comfortable with the ball on their feet. So, and I think that give us more options, to play out of the back.
Yeah.
And I, just moving to the, to center mid, and like, Pat, always very composed and really very solid, playing with KJ, right? Josue was another pleasant surprise playing as a 10. I didn't have that in mind at the beginning, but, having Johnny hungry to play and performing the way that he did last fall and like in the spring, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's give Johnny a shot. And I think was the right decision there. So you always that incredible work rate up top with Jackson. Was pretty incredible just to see our offensive line. I also really like the way that you guys are doing much better. Like, okay, so if one's gonna go and press, now we go and press, right? So that kill that we've been talking about, and I saw happening in the game. So we didn't have like one of our strikers just going nuts and then the other one sitting back. I'm like, okay, so just wasted some energy there. The two guys that went in, Vero and Reed, I think they did really well. So Zach Vero faster than we thought. And even the keeper, the goalkeeper got, remember that play? He was caught by surprise. I mean, that's incredible. And speed, goes in any 10 makes a huge difference, right? And just to finalize, Brian Underhill, like, solid as a beast, and I did talk to Brian during the game. There were a couple of opportunities that he could have played a long ball versus a short ball. And think about it, having a goalkeeper that can put the ball on the upper third at any moment, right, with a punt or on a goal kick. Brian can, as he has the ball, he can literally decide, I'm going to get this ball in the upper third, and the ball is there. Yeah. So it's huge. It's huge in our confidence. Not that we will do this all the time, but there are times in a game that we need to get the ball out of there. So, and he understood, and I think he had a really, really good performance on that day too. But anyhow, so those are my final thoughts on that game. And
yeah. How about for you, Tim? Any final thoughts on your end?
Bruno summed up pretty well everything that we thought of. I'd have to throw out there that Bruno always told me that Josue was a game player, not a practice player. And while he does fine in practice, wow, he really impressed me in the game. He really controlled things and created a lot of opportunity. And what I really liked was he and Jackson combining when we did put the press up on them and immediately pressure the ball. I thought they did a wonderful job with that. And I know you kind of touch on this coming up, Zach, but we have to point out 2 of our top 3 goal scorers the last time we had a season were home. And we were still, Jackson finally got his official first goal in college, had one in a game that was canceled due to rain last year. But, we were able to create that level of attack with Mike and Taylor not on the field. And that just, that makes me smile thinking about the fact, okay, we look that good. Now we're going to add the guy who led the team in goals, and going to add the guy who I believe led the team in assists and was second or third in goals. The number 3 guy decided to take 12 games off going into the season. So I think he may have finished up number 1 or number 2 had he been able to play anymore in the season in 2019. But, now the pieces are really coming together. Yeah. And then the last thing I'll put on the game is Bruno and I also, our job is to bring in better guys. And we've got 10 or 11 guys coming that will add even more depth to this team and are going to create things. So, but there is one thing I want to add because you brought it up, the bus ride home. Unfortunately, in our career as coaches of this school, we have suffered many, many quiet, depressing bus rides home. That one was fun. And without going into total detail, the, should we call it stand-up comedian contest was incredible. I'm still a little miffed that you guys didn't understand my dad joke. And you forgot that the key to a good dad joke is it's very, very bad. But it was nice to experience that ride home and hear you guys enjoying yourself like that. And I'm looking forward to, 11 or 12 more of those next year.
One can hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing we're going to talk about next season. We're all excited about it. And now we're out of school. We've been out of school for a couple of weeks. We're officially in 2021 mode. Less than 3 months. It's hard to believe that it's that close, but the boys will be reporting for preseason in mid-August. And just for clarification, all signs are pointing that we will have a season. The NE10 is currently allowing spring sports to play. They've all had a regular, normal season. They're in the playoffs. Actually, shout out to some of our spring sports teams. The men's lacrosse team made it to the NE10 championship, NCAA tournament, and the women's softball team won the NE10 tournament, and they're doing really well at the NCAA super regionals, I believe. So, yep. Shout out to those spring teams. But as I was saying, NE10 is allowed basically full return to sports. So we're pretty much on for next year, we believe. And also our school has announced that they're planning to lower campus restrictions if most of the campus gets vaccinated. And I believe about like a third of the student population is vaccinated right now. So hopefully we get those numbers up in the summer. We're back to normal in the fall. And additionally, if you follow us on Instagram, you know that we just graduated our 6 seniors. So we had Jaden West, Colin Kane, Spencer Person, Ethan Barbo, Josh Polakowitz, and Jack Connors. So just a quick shout out and thank you to those guys. And also, if you follow us on Instagram, you may have noticed we've just signed 10 guys for next year, 10 incoming players. And on top of that, as you said previously, Tim, Mike and Taylor are also coming back after a year off this year. So those 12 guys combined with the 19 we already have, there's no doubt the damage we can do next year. That's a pretty deep, formidable roster that we've never had something like that before. I can't speak for you guys, but I don't think you guys have ever had a deep team, like a deep loaded team like that. And that, I think that's going to be a good problem for you guys to have, especially if somebody gets injured, you could just throw somebody in there. But Bruno, you want to talk about the team for this upcoming fall?
Yeah, we as Tim said, our job is to bring somebody always better than the class before and better than you guys. And right. It's not always the case, but we definitely raised the bar. We raised the bar on the guys that we bring in, right? So the work rate needs to be there. We learned, especially in a conference that we play, sometimes your mental game is not in place. Your technical game, it's not going the way that you're playing. But your work rate but your physical game needs to be there, because there is no room for mistakes in that area, right?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna show up with one of those, the three components, you show up with your physical game, with your work rate. It's almost like watching you guys training. It's almost like, okay, so if somebody's not on that pace, it's almost you're exposing somebody. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way that you guys been working on the field, and I think just the philosophy, and I think every single class that we graduated, our seniors, the last, you mentioned about, the guys graduating, those guys will be missed for sure, because they are part of that that process too. All the other classes we learn from each of them. We thank them all, and I'm in touch with a bunch of them still. So and I I think they are all part of the success of the program right now. So I think big things are going to happen with this program, and they're all part of it, because they all help us like grinding during this entire time.
Yep.
But you wait until you see this 10 guys coming in, and will be awesome. So
how about you, Tim? What are your thoughts for next year?
So, I'm thinking about that as Bruno's talking, and just thinking the 31 guys, it's kind of weird to say 31 guys that we're going to have. There are so many scenarios that we're going to be prepared for right now. Yeah. As Zach Vero showed, boy, I hope no outside backs ever get tired during a game, because let's put Trombley on one side and put Zach on the other side and just tell them to go. And there will be opportunities that are created. But the biggest thing, and Zach, I think you'll appreciate this a lot. My biggest concern going into the fall is how we're going to be able to reel you guys in at practice and actually pull down the tone of competition and training, so that we don't burn you out and exhaust you. And that's a great problem to have. I got to tell you, when we have to tell you guys, okay, settle down, don't push yourself so hard, that's a fun problem to have. And that does not happen much in the coaching life.
Right.
Zach,
yeah, go ahead.
Zach, and the biggest thing for me too is that you guys will have more exposure to 11v11 scrimmages. Yeah. Tim and I, since we stepped on campus, to lead this program, we didn't have too many opportunities during training to work on the tactical pieces on a full field, because we didn't have an off. We always going to struggle with a few injuries, right? Yeah. We will always have to throw Bruno out there to be the 21st to 22nd player. And I'm retiring now of playing with you guys. I don't need my old body needs some rest now. And I can just kind of like Tim and I, we can literally just go to the field and, hey, I'm going to set up a 3-5-2, or with that team, you set up whatever, 4-3-3 here. So let's see how they do. And this is going to be, for me, you guys will get a more exposure to the 11v11. And one thing is for you to train offense versus defense, missing up, 2 players here, 10v10, 9v9, but 11v11 will tell us a lot, and will give you guys more minutes on the field, in order to be able to perform. Because at the end of the day, that's the format that you guys are playing. Yeah. Right. On Saturdays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. So,
Bruno, one thing about your statement about you retiring, I don't think the guys are going to let you retire. They may let you step back a little bit, but
yeah, they respect
and also
me, they don't come at me the way that they, that they go at each other. So they show some
because
respect.
They're afraid of
I take advantage of that.
That's respect. And I've known you almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
Bruno will be back on the field with us some. The only guy who has totally retired from trying to play with them is me. And my advanced age gives me every excuse in the world. Although, Zach, you and I were a pretty good combination in a 4v4 drill for a while. Yeah.
Hey, well, I could say that I'm next in line on that old man list, because I am in my 5th year next year, but I'm just really grateful to kind of get my eligibility back, and just I'm wicked excited to be a part of this group because we got experienced players, guys who have been there, done that, and we have a ton of new players who haven't seen anything. It's just a good blend, and 31 guys is just going to be just awesome to have everybody together later on this summer. But without further ado, it is time for our lightning round. So this is going to be very different this time because I'm asking the questions to Tim and Bruno. So Tim is participating in his, I believe, first lightning round answering questions.
First lightning round. In fact, you announcing the lightning round kind of confused me a little bit. Normally, that's my line.
I thought I was off of the hook on this one. I already did that one.
No. We're both on the hook now, Bruno.
Not fair.
All right. So you guys both know how it works, so I'll get right into it. Bruno, first question is for you. What do you miss most about Brazil?
It's a tough time for you to ask right now because I suffered so much this past winter. I just think like the sun all year round. That's what I missed. I've as I said, I've been getting older, and the winter's been longer for me. This one, the last one, I suffered. So I suffered a lot. Maybe because I trimmed some pounds and I don't have that extra insulation anymore, but that was a painful one. But
all right, Tim, similar question for you. You're the Florida boy. What do you miss most about Florida?
Well, Bruno stole the answer about the sun, and I've always had a problem with the late November to January time frame when it's dark at 4:00. But I guess what I would have to say the most about Florida, and this sounds kind of corny, but between my wife and I, our whole families are down there. And, sometimes you miss events like graduations and things like that, especially in the age of COVID. But Champions League final is this weekend, and I'd probably be sitting in we'll call it a restaurant with my brother, enjoying a few pops and watching the game. And, that's really what I miss.
Yeah. All right, Tim, I'm going to bounce back to you again on this one. What is your favorite TV show?
Oh, God. Really? Okay, I'll let everyone in on a little secret. There is not a nature show on Nat Geo or Animal Planet or BBC, like Planet Earth or something like that I have not watched at least a dozen times. One of my bucket list things is to, go to Antarctica or go to southern Argentina or somewhere like that, see the penguins out in the wild, see the different animals, do an African safari. But man, if there's a show like about lion prides or tigers in India, or even like the gorillas and things like that, I could watch it over and over and over again.
How about for you, Bruno? Favorite TV show?
I would say I'm not a guy that'll be sitting, and watching TV. I've been the last 2-3 years, I've been pretty active. I like going out there. You guys know me. So I'm riding a bike, thanks to Chris Gallagher's dad, right? Steve, he got me hooked into that stuff, and I'm addicted now. So, and longboarding, and I like to be out exercising, hitting the gym, and it's my therapy. It's a daily thing for me. But during the pandemic, so I did actually watch some shows. I did watch a series on Netflix, Ozark. I really like that one. So I'm waiting for the second one. It's about to come up. So I'm not sure if it's out yet, but they keep promising it's going to, be out soon. But I did watch that entire one.
Awesome. Okay, Bruno, back to you on this one. And this is going to put you guys on the spot. In your opinion, what is the most important position on the soccer field?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Most important one. If I have to pick one today based in a conference that we play, I would just go with my keeper.
Okay.
I would go with my goalie. I think everything starts out of the back. It's almost like if my keeper is panicking, that it's contagious and go to the whole team.
Right.
If my keeper is calm and safe, and I think that goes from that to my backline to midfielders, strikers. Of course, I mean, my strikers will be winning games, but my keeper will be it's all important, but I would say if I would have to pick one, I would pick, a keeper.
How about you, Tim? I know you're agreeing.
Keeper is number 2.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll just start rattling off some names. Luke Shaw, Kyle Walker, Antonio Valenza. Those outside backs, especially in a wing back style play, which we somewhat play. Yeah. So a Chris Gallier, Mikey 14, Jake Reynolds, Thomas Prentice, maybe Colin Miller. Those guys are definitely the most dangerous player on the field. And I say that because, Zach, imagine you're pushing up. Who do you think the center back and outside back is focused on? They're looking at Zach with Jackson or Mike or someone combining with you. And they're not always noticing that Chris is sneaking in behind you or Mikey's sneaking in behind you. And to me, if you can play that position well, and you can definitely set the tone of the game. Now, Brian, we're showing you love again. Don't get me wrong. Goalkeeper is an important position, but I think Brian would agree to me. I'm perfectly fine with those outside backs not letting them shoot and not letting me show how important I am.
Well, I am shocked at both of your answers because the most important position on the field for me, having played in 10 for 4 years, is center mid.
Yeah.
I know, but I don't know how you didn't say that.
Bro. Yeah. You know what? Because you told me just to say one. And I get it. You win your game right in the middle of the field. You pace the game. You help your strikers. You support your strikers, help your defense. But I'd say, if I would, I did say keeper because I think you can get away improvising or getting guys that even if they're naturally strikers, you can kind of like fill in. But a keeper, I think that's an important piece that you can't replace a solid goalie.
No,
so that's why I picked a keeper. So
I see where you're coming from. Just in my opinion, just center mid, you got to have 3 players that are some of your best skill, best work rate, play offense and defense. So that's the most important player to me.
Yeah,
but,
field vision, 4-way player involves everything. I know, I get it. You got to defend, you got to score, you got to attack, you got to do the whole thing. But I still stay with the keeper for now.
Okay. All right. Tim, what is try and keep it short, this one. What is your favorite part about being a college soccer coach?
Wow. So I guess I would have to say, really, it's the relationships that we develop with guys like you, with the players that we have. I've always looked at it as we're not necessarily just coaching you in soccer. We're helping you prepare for life. Yeah. And, there's a few of the guys who have had opportunities to come work with me once they've graduated. Fingers crossed, Spencer will be on board pretty soon. And to me, just being able to see you guys, I mean, it's crazy, but you come in as little kids and you leave as grown men. And to me, that's just watching that growth and seeing what you become is my favorite part.
How about for you, Bruno?
Yeah, I agree with Tim on that. Helping preparing this young man, you guys, for life. I know all we can do is just give you guys some advice, is because if you think whatever you do, the way that you behave on a soccer field and in a team environment, the next team that you're going to be playing for, most likely for 99% of you guys, will be at your work. So you guys need to learn you need to know how to work with people, right? How to deal with all that stuff, with issues, and be responsible, right? Be reliable. And that's what we try to help you guys with. There are lessons that goes beyond the soccer field. Another piece for me, I promise I'm going to keep, just make this quick, would be, it brings me back the chills and the heart rate pumping right before a game when I about to go Milucci and have you guys, see you guys warming up. I know sometimes this doesn't show as much, but that is the closest that I can get from from my past. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at that level, when I see you guys getting on the field and it makes me really, really nervous, and I love that feeling, the competition feeling.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'm not a coach, but getting ready for big games, it's the best thing, and I can't wait for that next fall. Last question, Bruno, you're first on this one. What is the biggest goal you have while being a coach at St. A's?
Man, I'm telling you. So I think everything's possible if you bring the right, the right group of guys. As I said, if I remove that piece that we want you guys to be successful in the next step of your life, right? So if we remove that, because that's our biggest goal, just try to help you guys as much as we can with that stuff. But hey, why not to dream on winning a conference, right? We got to go a step at a time. Yeah. So it's been a while that this team hasn't hit the playoffs, and I think we're ready for it. There is no question that we are ready for the next step. We win the games that we're supposed to, and then we'll be where we deserve, right? And we keep moving up. There is no way that we're taking steps back. If you look back, even the year that we only won a game, we knew why we only won a game, right? We had a bunch of younger guys playing, and we knew that the next step would be winning more games and just see the way that the program, the way that we've been playing lately, right? So but hey, why not winning the conference at some point? I think it's totally possible if we bring the right guys and just keep moving forward with the guys and stick with the plan, right? So don't get distracted. So
how about for you, Tim?
So I actually had a little time to think about it while Bruno was talking, and I'll have to echo. My answer is going to be more of a on the field answer, because we obviously want you guys all to graduate. There's nothing prouder than, and Zach and you and I were talking about it, looking and saying, oh, the overall team GPA was over a 3, and fixing the reputation that maybe men's soccer had years ago, getting us back to the glory days of, what we really should have been. But I've got to be honest, is I guess I could sum up my goal by saying, I want us to be respected by the teams that we play. It's been too many years that they've looked at St. A's and, some of the bigger programs have circled us and said, hey, guys, second team players, here's where you're really going to get a lot of minutes. And I would rather they circled us and said, guys, we need to be more than prepared to play them. And you know what? I think we're there. I think had we had a season in 2020, you guys would have finished top half, if not top 3 or 4 in the conference, without a doubt. And we weren't losing a ton of players. We had roles. Obviously, the seniors that graduated played their role, and they were very important, but they had guys behind them that were right there with them. I don't see why, with the group that we have coming in, we shouldn't be able to end up in an NCAA tournament with this group. We obviously will have some tall hills to get over. Yep. Franklin Pierce is going to be just monstrous next year. Adelphi and SNU are always putting out quality teams. Yep. But when Bruno and I look at our depth chart and we look at the guys who are there, there's no holes anymore. There's no, what are we going to do if, I don't know, Zach tears his ankle? Then what do we do? That's not there anymore. And we could go a long way. And I think the respect that we've always wanted is going to be earned next fall.
Yeah. And that I love the answers from both of you. I really think we could be a scary team, and we have a ton of potential. We just got to keep working, stick to the plan, as Bruno said, and hopefully everything will end up the way we kind of want it to be. But anyway, thank you, Bruno, for joining us today. That was awesome. We had a lot of fun. And to our viewers watching, thank you guys so much for the continued support and for watching all of our episodes. We really appreciate it. And we just love doing this to kind of keep you guys in the loop and just kind of make our Hawks soccer family tighter. So thank you all. And that's all for season 2. Season 3 will hopefully be out sometime this summer, where we kind of get a little bit more in depth about what's to come in the fall, preseason, all that stuff. But until then, thank you guys again. And if you're watching this video, go ahead, like, subscribe. If you got anything you want to say to us, you can comment or email himfield@anselm.edu. Also, go follow us on our Instagram. You know, as we get closer to the season, there's going to be a lot of good stuff posted on there. And we're also streaming our podcast on Podbean and Apple iTunes. So thank you guys again. Until season 3, protect the nest.